Okay, this is not an episode of Miami Vice. It's actually much cooler than that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to At Your Leisure from sunny Florida. I'm Chad Booth, and I'm with the Yardleys.
I'm Katie.
I'm Mark.
And we have joined them for the maiden voyage of their new boat. Now, rumor has it, this 42-foot speed demon might be headed to Lake Powell. Is that true?
Absolutely. We're definitely going to take it to Lake Powell.
Anyway, we decided we'd take them up on the offer and come down and enjoy a little Florida weather and see what this baby can do. You ever had a boat like this before?
Never. This is a dream boat for us. Waiting our whole life to get something like this.
Is it faster than a horse?
A little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can do a lot of talking about a boat, but it's much more fun to hit the throttle.
I love just being on the water. You know, it's just peaceful.
I don't know what it is. I love the water. I love the ocean too. And this is without a doubt the most favorite place I've ever been on the face of the earth. It has ocean, inland, waterways, houses all over on the water. It's something
Beautiful
that I
houses.
love. There's nothing like being here in January with it being 85 degrees.
Oh, it's been
And snow
perfect
back
weather.
home, even snow at our home in St. George. And we're in love with it back here. I hope, if all goes well, we'll be here every January for a few months each year. It's perfect time to come here.
What do you think about that one, honey?
Ah, beautiful.
Which
one?
I like that one right there.
I like this
Or maybe
one.
this one up here. There's
Yeah,
so
I
many
like that
beautiful
one too,
yachts.
man.
What?
It's amazing.
What are you guys doing?
Oh,
man,
we're
look at
picking
these
out our
yachts.
yacht.
You just bought this one, you're already looking to buy another boat. What's going on?
No, we need one to travel around the world.
Oh,
And the one
okay.
that this could fit inside. That would be my dream.
Okay, well, that one looks big enough.
That's pretty big right there,
Yeah.
isn't it? Then you get to look at all the big houses and then decide if you want a yacht or a house.
We're thinking about it.
Which one?
Weighing our options. We took the Miami River up. We didn't even know there was a Miami River that goes up between the buildings, and so right between all the high rises, and there's a whole bunch of restaurants up there, and it's fun. It's wonderful. Wonderful food.
I've been on the Intercoastal Highway before, but I tell you, Mark and Katie, I had no idea that you could drive right through the middle of downtown Fort Lauderdale. This is like an amazing web of traffic.
It is.
It is.
It's cool.
It's very pretty.
A lot of neat places to eat everywhere.
Yeah, you could drive your boat to the restaurant, huh? Have you done that yet?
We
Yes,
have.
all the time.
We drive to lunch almost every day on the boat. It's a lot of fun.
I would imagine. Do you think you could get lost out here?
Easy.
Absolutely, you could. If we didn't have the map on the boat that shows us right where we're at all times, I would absolutely get lost.
I think once you've been around a little bit, you'd be fine.
You probably.
I think now that we've been out here for a while, I don't know if I think we'd be fine.
A little bit further down the way, I was here years ago, and people's docks were right on the Intercoastal, except for Larry Flint's house, and his was an easy landmark. You always knew when you were at Larry Flint's house, but I won't say why.
He had a special landmark that you
He had
knew.
a special landmark. Tell people exactly what he thought of them. Anyway, so right now we're going to continue on our ride, but you check out this story. You hear it? That's the sound of power. Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are out with the Yardleys on their new boat, 42-footer, down here in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and making friends with all the neighbors. Anyway, I did a little math on these boats. Each motor is 450 horsepower. That's more horsepower than a Chev 454 Marinized, because I used to have a boat that had one in it. And you times that by 4, that's 1,800 horsepower, which is what World War II aircraft used to have in them. And believe me, this one flies just like the airplanes. Let's find out a little bit more about the unique things about this boat.
This is a 2023 MTI 42V slot with 450 Racing Mercury engines on it. This is actually a center console that is at the higher limit of the performance range. The electronics they have these days, it does a lot of that for you. It does enable you to do your own fine tuning if you wish to, but they have a lot of adjustability. It's all computer controlled. No, this is definitely a sports car on the water. You can have your plotter on one, your charts, you can have your motors, you can have your music. This thing has LED lighting. It'll dance to the music.
I've been amazed at how smooth it is, you know, and just how it gets through the water. It's really incredible. The power is pretty intense. Like when he gives it a lot of power, and I'm used to the bows that go up and stay up. This one goes up and goes right down. So it's really cool. Really a beautiful boat. Yeah, that's the only downside of being out here is that we don't have a station out here, so we can gas Mark's boat up. So we might be able to fix that one day. Who knows? We'll see.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure on the Intercoastal Highway, Fort Lauderdale. There's the Oakland Park Bridge right behind us, if you're familiar with the area. You know, we're out here taping this show on a weekday, and it's pretty quiet. But when it's a weekend and everybody's out playing, it gets a little hectic, and that's where good piloting comes in.
I always recommend anytime someone buys an investment like this to at least get trained, you know, whether it be 20 hours, 30 hours of a private captain, someone that has experience on that type of vessel. A lot of boat owners that I do know, they've had boats for over 20 years. They still like to have me on board because they want to go out, they want to have a cocktail, they want to entertain. But as far as buying a new piece of equipment, it's definitely good to have the training. So, I mean, I don't really think that there's a set size limit. You know, like I said, if you're a new boat owner, you've never, you know, owned a boat in your life, people don't understand sometimes that it doesn't drive like a car. Certification is a good idea because A, it'll protect your initial investment of the boat, protects, more importantly, the people on your boat. It protects you with your insurance company, God forbid something was to happen. And, you know, it's just a good thing to have. You know, they say education is power in this world. You know, I'm a humble guy. I'm always learning stuff. You know, I've been in this industry about 17 years now, but, you know, I've always constantly learning something new. It could be from a guy that has his captain's license for a year. You know, I could always pick up little bits of information here and there from whether it be in bodies of water that I've never been before, certain vessels that I've never operated before. Education is key when running something like this, you know. The term that I was trained on in school is a term called situational awareness. And that pretty much means it's being aware of your surroundings, obviously the safety of everybody on board, especially if people are drinking, if people are close to the side of the boat, how am I going to approach that wave? You know, you're always thinking one or two moves ahead on a boat. So the situational awareness of just knowing everything that's going on around you, behind you, to the left, right, putting that all together, and like I said, just thinking 2 or 3 moves ahead.
I'm finally right where I want to be, at the wheel. This is so awesome. Anyway, of course, we're only going idle speed because I don't want to push the throttle down. This is an amazing dash. It's got all of your engine stuff on screens. It's got 2 navigational screens here and actually a third with a rear view camera. This is better than anything in a car. And I've just got to follow little lines and we won't get in trouble. As a matter of fact, I see something up ahead. I can see by looking at the chart right now that we have got to leave here, lock in the 4-wheel drive hubs, and go to this story. Welcome back to At Your Leisure in sunny Fort Lauderdale with the Yardleys. This has been a fun day, you two. I really appreciate you inviting us down.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm
Never
glad
gets
you
old.
came.
Yeah, I expect that you'll be able to run a taxi service by next year because you'll know it so
A
well.
little taste of heaven every day,
How many hours a day do you think you spend out on the boat?
every chance we get,
We
all
probably
day.
averaged at least 8 to 10 hours a day. It seems from sun up to
Well,
sundown,
we have,
pretty much.
I mean, I'm ready for some golf, so
Of course, you
I-
probably take a little
I
break.
hear
and do
there's
some
no
golf.
shortage of it down here,
There's a
Mark.
lot of golf.
There's a lot of golf. We've actually been golfing twice. So we had 2 no boating days. We went golfing.
All right, well, that's good.
The greatest generation rose to the call to defend America 80 years ago this year. Legions of young men, boys really, who answered the patriotic challenge to save our way of life and liberty. Perhaps none were more brave than the Mosquito Boat crews. PT boats fought a pivotal role in our victory at sea. Like tiny Davids, they would bravely challenge the naval Goliaths of the enemy. One of those sailors, Arthur Frangello, was only 16 years old at the time. With a faith in God and plucky can-do attitude, he faced fear and death on a daily basis.
In September of 1943, instead of going into my 3rd year of high school, I joined the Navy. The reason I joined the Navy, I didn't want to get caught in a draft and end up in the Army. I'm from Boston. I want to be in the Navy. I want to be on the ocean. We had 11 boats. We lost 1. So we were a bunch of kids that grew up to be men. We had a job to do, and we grew up doing it.
PT 658 is the only running U.S. Navy PT boat left from World War II. The boat is run by volunteers dedicated to educating young and old alike about the saga of the PTs. It's their passion to bring the experience to life in a most tactile way. Today, after 80 years, Arthur, who still has that plucky spirit, is headed for a very special reunion.
Wow. I look at that boat and all I can think of is, where are we headed tonight? She looks beautiful. Ah, the sound. Request permission to come aboard, Captain. Holy mackerel.
You can feel the engines, the vibration. You look around at the firepower. You get a sense of the raw machine that this boat is.
Yeah, the radar man.
Some of the guys that have been on the boat for 20 years, some of the volunteers, they work side by side with the original World War II vets.
This day of laughter, tears, joy, and memories was undeniably special and historic, not only to those who maintain this 80-foot floating arsenal, but also to Arthur, who for an afternoon washed away the years of his life to become a 16-year-old again, fighting to save America.
When the angels asked me to recall one of the greatest experiences of all, I'll remember this one.
For At Your Leisure, I'm Terry Wood.
River Adventures offers a few different things. We're known mainly for our Hells Canyon jet boat tours. We do a lot of fishing, fall steelhead fishing as well, and fishing in Hells Canyon.
He's huge.
Whoa.
Oh, rock on, sister. Look at that baby.
You're going to experience from mild to wild. The day starts off pretty mellow. Once after lunch, we get up into the upper rapids, have a really good time. The water can fluctuate. It can make class 1 and 2 rapids turn into class 4 and 5 rapids.
Love it. Gotta have that Snake River water in your face.
So you just get the best of both worlds here on the jet boat tour in Hells Canyon. That's actually Kirkwood. That's 5 miles up. That's typically our first stop on our tour on the day. Grace and Lynn Jordan lived at Kirkwood. They came down here to survive the Depression. So back in the 30s, 40s, this was the largest sheep ranch in the world, this whole river corridor. My great-grandparents worked for the company that had the sheep down in here, worked right up in the ranch house right above us. My great-grandpa actually died right here at Pittsburgh Landing in 1971, irrigating hay fields. Well, I care very deeply about it. Obviously, it's my family roots. I was born and raised here. This is really my stomping grounds. Well, the concrete tub was something that Len Jordan promised his wife, Gracie Jordan, because she said, if you didn't build me a bathtub, I was moving out of the canyon. So he figured out a way to make a concrete bathtub in their house, and it has been a signature piece in Hells Canyon. It's talked about all over the place. So our tour really incorporates a lot of that history. So it's firsthand history. It came right from my great-grandmother before she passed away in 1992. So it's really just an honorful thing to have that in our family heritage. That was our first stop, and then we worked our way up the river. We've seen a lot of different places. We've seen Sturgeon Rock. All along the way, we were fortunate enough to see a younger bear today.
I actually could not believe how close we were to it. And he was so friendly. You could tell he knew we were taking pictures of him, and he was just so cute. It was amazing. I've never been that close to a bear.
We've seen bighorn sheep, deer, a couple eagles. We've seen the highest point in Hells Canyon on the Idaho side. We showed all the way through there, even up around Granite when we were in the deepest part of Hells Canyon, 9,393 feet.
Look at the Homo sapiens! They're beautiful! There's a stray over there.
So there's just so much to see, and you really can't just do it in a day. Hells Canyon is a wonderful place. It's actually the deepest canyon in North America. So when you come here, you can get that feeling only by jet boat. So it's just a really great featured place for Idaho. I do this because it's something that I've always loved to do. People do not come here to have a bad time, and I really like sharing the history of the canyon. I love fishing. There's just really no other job I'd rather have. Get in contact with us. You can get a hold of us by just simply hellscanyon.tours or a phone number, which is 1-800-524-9710. Give us a call. Let us know how we can take you guys on an experience of a lifetime.
The out-of-this-world beauty of Lake Powell has been attracting admirers for almost half a century. But now, with low water levels, the changing landscape is an explorer's dream come true.
Today, October 27th, is Lake Powell's birthday. She is 49 years old today. In 1972, Congress got together and they took this land and they set it aside as a national recreation area. And today we're going to go out there and check it out.
With many unique rock formations that were previously submerged, photographers like Cameron Knudsen are finding limitless possibilities for their art.
Well, this canyon and this whole region is just beautiful. The red rocks down here, in comparison with the blue skies, just create the most dramatic contrast. And you mix in the calm, clear waters of Lake Powell with the reflections, you're going to get unparalleled shots that you'll never find anywhere else in the world.
And the wonders don't end at the lake's surface. In deep water, sandy flats, and rocky canyons, there are different and interesting species of fish found in these diverse habitats. In fact, you never really know what spectacular surprises the twists and turns of Lake Powell might hold.
So we were out in Cathedral and cruising through the canyon, got the beautiful clear water, perfect reflections on the rock face, and we come around a corner and right there to our left is a group of bighorn sheep right on the edge. And then magically you got this monster show up right on the ridge line with the sky behind him, just chasing those females around. Perfect time, you can't beat it. Oh, it's undescribable, that moment, because you know you just captured a moment in time that's never going to exist again. These are once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and with the water where it is now and the lake the way it is, you could see things that nobody's ever seen before and chances are might never see again, so don't miss out.
These experiences are, of course, temporal. And it makes one want to savor every moment of the lake in Glen Canyon as it is now. After all, who knows what conditions will be in the future?
If you look up, you can see in this canyon all the white. That was where the water level was, and then the sediment filled in to this slot canyon over time. We had some really unique weather patterns over the monsoon season, and it washed the sand out.
With the uncertainty and changes happening at Lake Powell, there's no time like the present to get out there and make the most of it. With this week's Along the Way, I'm Terry Wood.
I'm Reese Stein, at your leisure at Lake Havasu, Arizona, a paradise for boaters. But there's also great biking, ATVs, and hiking trails. And oh yeah, there's also a bridge. It's London Bridge of falling down fame, the same bridge that spanned the Thames River in England from 1830 to 1962. Lake Havasu bought the granite block bridge for $2.5 million and spent another $7 million moving it to the desert where it was reassembled. They even brought over the bullet holes from the World War II Battle of Britain. The bridge quickly became a magnet for sun and water lovers, and the desert climate makes it a perfect late fall and early spring getaway. You'll see every imaginable kind of craft on the water, from high-end fast goers to family-filled leisure boats, from sailboats to paddleboards to kayaks. Everybody and his dog loves to float on Lake Havasu. And while the area has a raucous reputation for spring break bashes, it can also be a great family-friendly resort with wonderful, safe, white sand beaches within walking distance of hotels and restaurants.
The water in here is about 40 feet deep. It stays cool and clear, even during the summer when the rest of the lake heats up.
No Not having our own boat, we took grandsons Eric and Kenneth on the 1-hour commercial tour to Copper Canyon, a spectacular side bay with majestic cliffs and secluded inlets. Miners took millions in copper and silver from the mines in this canyon.
And you can see in this little valley here how large that silver mine was. The copper mines are underwater.
The tour company offers a variety of boat rides if you forgot to bring yours. Lake Havasu was built to quench the thirst and light the lights in Southern California. It stretches out behind Parker Dam at the south end of the lake. The Depression-era dam on the Colorado River is 320 feet high, but because the base is so soft, it's sunk 235 feet below the riverbed, making it the deepest dam in the world. Semi-wild burros, descendants of the early mining area, roam freely throughout Lake Havasu. And Cattail Cove State Park, on the edge of the lake, features a 61-unit campground with RV hookups and heated showers. A large boat ramp makes for easy access to all the fun on Lake Havasu, including fishing for bass, crappie, and catfish. The lake has produced state records for smallmouth bass and green sunfish. There are biking trails and plenty of ATV challenges in the area. But I'm a hiker, and we found a great one.
It was a lot of uphill, and it was really rocky.
Really rocky, huh?
Yeah.
The really rocky Crack in the Wall Trail takes off from the peripheral road around Sarah Park, an 1,100-acre recreation site 5 miles south of town. It follows a broad wash into starkly beautiful desert canyons bordered by serrated ridges. Look out for dragons along the way. The canyon is littered with these friendly monsters.
We saw lots of lizards. My dad actually almost stepped on one, so.
All right. Soon the canyon walls rise and begin to close in. Flash flooding has scoured the broad wash into a tight gorge. The route tumbles down a series of rocky dry falls. Mudstone conglomerate walls are constantly closing in until they shrink to a wonderful slot canyon called the Crack.
It was pretty good because what we did is we went through a canyon, and then we went through the slide-looking thing, and then when we went down it.
The slide-looking thing is a highlight of the Crack.
Well, it's not really a slide, it's like a rock that acts like a slide.
Exactly. Below the rock that acts like a slide, the canyon is barely arm span wide, but this day it is flooded and too mucky to slog through. Another group coming back tells us of a bypass trail over the ridge, so we backtrack a few hundred feet, scrambling up obstructions left by eons of flooding. The Crack is a fun house for the youngsters, if somewhat challenging for their grandparents. A fat local seems amused by our struggles. Eric leads John and me up the bypass trail while the rest of our group heads home. Over the ridge, the trail levels off, following a series of ridge lines with the lake in the distance. This time of year, temperatures are moderate enough so the shadeless hike is tolerable, but carry water. Soon the trail drops to lake level at secluded Balanced Rock Cove, a favorite for fishermen and sun worshippers. Coots dive for fish in the green shallows of the cove. There's a boat-in campsite here with restroom and picnic table. And while the boaters cool off in the bay, we can only admire the scene, regretting not bringing swimsuits. The trail is 6 miles round trip, and apparently dogs are allowed. Just pick up after them and carry extra water. Lake Havasu may be a boater's paradise, but there's plenty to do on dry land. I'm Reese Stein, at your leisure at Lake Havasu, Arizona.
I'm Corey Toon, and I'm on the Payette River outside of Boise, Idaho, and we are going up the river today. Most people go down rivers. We're going to go up the rapids, Class 5 rapids. We're going to have so much fun. The law of gravity says what goes up must come down. We're proving that opposite. What goes down has to come up. We have all sorts of great boating here in the West, but when I had the opportunity to go up to the Payette River just outside of Boise, I took the opportunity, but really I had no idea, absolutely no idea what I was going to encounter. I cannot even begin to express my feelings on how different this was. This was not your everyday boating, pulling water skiers, pulling wakeboarders, doing all that. This was the most intense and very many times scary situation that I think I've ever been in on boating, because we're going up rapids, Our trip today started about 30 or 40 minutes outside of Boise, Idaho. These guys up here are simply amazing. I'm here with Carl, and he's going out on the river with us today, and I want to know, you've owned several boats. Why do you do this? What makes you have this obsession for riverboats?
It's neat country. I mean, it's wild country you get to go into that you just can't get into anywhere else. You can run rapids for the excitement, or you can just be in there and relax, go fishing, just kick back. I mean, you just get all kinds of experiences. Just a great time.
What are you going to show me that's going to make me feel safe to be out on these huge, big rapids today?
All these boats are constructed with 50/86 1/4-inch bottoms. It's basically like this boat here has got 9 T6 stringers running across the bottom. This basically here is a Marine Power supercharged 6.2 liter LSA engine. It's an all aluminum block. It's the same engine that they're putting in the Cadillac CTS-V, the supercharged 6.2 that goes in there.
We're on the river now, and like I said, I've been on thousands of boats in my life, but I've never been on one like this, and these controls have me baffled. Chris, tell me a little bit about this boat and how you control it. It seems pretty complex.
It's not too hard. Basically this here, it's a stick steering. Basically push it forward. It's like holding onto a bicycle handlebar. If you push it forward, you go left. Pull it back, you go right.
I have to give kudos to our pilot today, Chris, because we would be going 40 miles an hour, buzzing through these rapids, spinning to the side, and coming about 10 feet from the shore, and I thought on several occasions we were going to slam right into the side and beach it. But he would go from port to starboard in the matter of about 2 seconds and would be heading 180 degrees the opposite direction. And these boats draft 4 inches, only 4 inches. It's incredible. We came so close to the shore that Josh turned around and he had a mouthful of leaves. That's how close we got to the shore. River boating is so much different than lake boating or ocean boating or anything I have ever experienced. You have a lot smaller area to navigate, but that does not mean that you're not going to have as much fun, because we could spin these boats around literally just like you're on a jet-powered personal watercraft, where you could be going full throttle and you could slam it around 180 degrees and be going the opposite direction. So we had plenty of control, but it was quite different to be on a river, heading up rapids, and having all the control in the world. And several times when we hit these rapids, we had a 20-foot wall of water go over the top of the cabin and soak our passengers on the back deck. As everyone knows out there, boating is definitely my passion. And one of the things that I like most about boating is the diversity, and I can't say that enough. I have literally boated on every type of boat in every part of the world on several occasions. And every time that I think that I've done everything and accomplished everything in the marine industry, I find something different like this. And this is an experience that no matter how many times you've been on a boat, no matter how many times you've been on the water, this type of river boating will definitely get your heart pounding. Well, the sun's going down and we've had an amazing day on the water. Any day on a boat on the water is a great day. Thanks again, Chris. And I'm going to send everybody out there to your website, which is
whitewatercustoms.com.
So if you want to have as much fun as we've had out here, go to the internet and we'll see you on the water.